All right, there we are. Got the YouTube finally up, Facebook with us, Instagram with us. Greetings, greetings. Welcome to the Weekly Awakening. And oh yeah, the YouTube just ended. See if that's working or not. But anyways, we'll keep it going. Uh, Welcome to the Weekly Awakening. We're definitely back in session today, this evening, taking a break from dreams, and we're going to talk about the breath and the power of the breath. Let me see if I can get YouTube back online real quick with us. One moment. Uh, Zoom, there we go. So I wanted to take a break because of how important this is, and a friend of my brother's brought it up, asking questions about the breath and things, and it will kind of developed into that, and I just wanted to make a video. We'll get back to dreams next week. So want to talk about the power of the breath. And so first of all, I want to just share um, a little bit, because we breathe all the time. But most of the time when we're breathing, we're doing it unconsciously. Our body's just doing it. It's an autonomic function of the body. And it's just kind of happening without us putting any thought to it. And so there's a power to the breath that you can wield if you learn to breathe consciously and take control of this autonomic function of the body, autonomous function of the body. And so what we wanted to do today is understand, one, what that power is, kind of where we can discover some of the inner teachings of that, because like I said, we're going to talk about the inner secret of the Holy Trinity and how that's connected to the breath. And then we'll also talk about, go over some different breathing exercises. I got 3 different breathing exercises I want to share. So we'll go ahead and dive into the first breathing exercise for you. It's called the long breath. And this exercise has really come in handy for me throughout my life, especially early on through studying metaphysics, because, I'm a Taurus, so I used to be hot-headed, quick to be angry. And this really helped me a lot with the anger and emotions. And that's kind of the power of this breathing exercise, the long breath. And essentially scientifically, because like I said, metaphysics is a science. So I like to understand what's occurring beyond the physical with these different practices. So what occurs with the long breath is the emotional energy is the energy will still be there, but the thing is, emotion is neutral. So it's kind of how you perceive it. So whenever you are angry or jealous or fearful, afraid, depressed, any kind of unproductive negative emotion, it must cease to exist whenever you are breathing in this way. After so long, it'll dissipate and cease to exist. It's impossible for it to remain with breathing this way. And any productive emotion like joy, bliss, happiness, peace, anything like that will increase through breathing this way. And so I'll share that with you. Essentially, it's called the long breath because you're just taking the longest, deepest breath possible. And so we'll go ahead and go over it today, and we'll just kind of run through it. And this is very powerful for not necessarily controlling your emotions, but harnessing them and being able to be in control, kind of dissipate any negative emotions, so that you can then respond to things occurring in your life versus reacting to them. And for me, at a young age, that was very, very necessary. It definitely helped me to, have better relationships at work, in my personal life, with my friends, with myself. And it was very valuable, very key for self-awareness. So all you do is just take the deepest breath you can take and continue taking deeper and deeper breaths. Try to slow down the breath and breathe as slow as possible. When you're breathing, just continue to slow it down, slower. I mean, eventually you'll find out how slow is, real slow. But just try to breathe as slow as you can and as deep as you can. So we'll just breathe a couple times like that. Right now, kind of breathe with you. You can watch me and adjust and things and just practice it for a little while. So just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, Breathe out. You don't have to go with the same pace as me. You know, I'm a big guy. I got big lungs. So just go at your own pace. Slow, deep breaths. Slower and slower, deeper and deeper. Breathe in. Breathe out. I don't know if you can feel any effect, but I already can feel the effect of that. And it just helps me become more calm, peaceful. I mean, that's the exercise I do before every meditation also, or one similar to it. I kind of switch it up at times, doing different breathing exercises, but I always start with the breath. Helps put me in a particular mind state to more conducive for meditation. But I will also want to go through these breathing exercises also to give you an experience right away, because like I always say in all my videos, you know, don't believe anything I'm saying. Please don't believe anything I'm saying, especially believing it just because I'm saying it. I want you to maybe be open to what I'm saying and implement it into your life and practice it so that you can discover whether it's true or not, you know, so then you won't be dependent upon anyone else for you to know what truth is. And so then maybe you can observe it in other people and then see if it's a universal truth or just a personal truth, you know, and so then you won't have to be believing anything, you can know it, you know, universal law of believing and knowing. So that's kind of the first exercise. Take that with you, put that in your little metaphysical toolbox, and use it anytime. Now, the easy part is doing the breath. It's very simple, very easy. It works. You know, it might take you, 60 seconds, 120 seconds, 2 minutes, or you might be really pissed, and it might take you 5 minutes. You know, but 5 minutes is about all it should take. But the hardest part with that exercise is being able to be aware enough to do it while you're in the middle of that intense emotion. That's the hardest part, and is to remember to do it while you're angry and upset, or really down the dump, sad, depressed, grieving, or anything. You know, and it doesn't necessarily take away the situation. It doesn't take away the need to put your attention on something and address a problem or an issue. But what it does do is it removes the grip or grasp that the emotion has on you. It removes the emotional influence on how you're going to respond to that situation or experience. You know, and so it kind of puts the power back in your hands instead of kind of being at the mercy of what might feel outside of yourself. And so it'll also help you to become more aware of your emotions and how they're functioning also as well, because what that does is it places your attention within. And so that's another thing I want to talk about is, there's a lot of breathing exercises and things, and breathing does a lot of things for a lot of people, but I'm not necessarily talking about the majority of breathing exercises that I hear of, like watching the breath or finding the space between the breaths and things. And those have value. Those have a lot of value, but those are mostly to help you to place your attention within or give you something to concentrate upon within yourself, to help you go within, or to help you focus and still your mind. This is mostly what we're talking about. It's very valuable, but what we're talking about is actually what you can do with the breath, how you can change your physiological makeup with the breath, how you can change the way your neurons are firing, the way your meridians are flowing, the amount of energy that you have, your I can't think of the word. All of a sudden, it just escaped me. Nervous system. You know, how your nervous system is functioning and firing, and kind of how it affects you physically. We just talked about ways that it can affect you emotionally, and also ways it can affect you mentally, and most importantly, ways that it can affect you energetically. That's mostly what I want to help you understand now, is how you can use the breath to change your energy, because that's what's happening with the emotions. Emotions are just energy. It's a neutral energy in how we perceive it. You know, when you practice that long breath, you'll have a lot of, especially when you practice it when you're really pissed or having intense emotions, that's when you'll really see true effects and know that I'm not just bullshitting you. Your breath can do something for you. You know, you're just breathing all the time, but if you change how you breathe, like I said, if you put conscious attention to it, then it'll magnify the power of the breath. It's all type of bugs out here. But so what we want to do is breathe consciously. So first off, we want to talk about what the breath is. A lot of times when people think about the breath, they're just so stuck in the physical that they only focus on the physical and think about oxygen. Oh, we're just, breathing oxygen. You're just over oxygenizing your body. But that kind of happens, but that's not true. The true essence of what we're doing. Within every oxygen molecule is harnessed prana, or life force, or vitality globules. However you want to phrase it, they're phrased in different ways. But this prana is the Hindu term for it. Life force is kind of the more modern, common term for it. Vitality globules, that's kind of what they were calling it back in the 1800s and things, 1700s. And so it's all the same thing. It's pretty much the solar essence that is within our oxygen. Our oxygen gets charged by the sun as the UV rays are coming through the ozone layer into our atmosphere. And so the oxygen houses prana, solar energy. And so when we're breathing, this solar energy is encapsulated within the oxygen. And so it fills up our body. It fills up our body. The more we breathe, if you're in like a closed off, stuffy place, you can tell. If you stay in there, then you're going to start getting depressed because your body's just going to be drained of energy, and you're never going to be able to refill the energy. So you feel just drained and defueled and depressed. And so, that's kind of what happens if you just stay closed off in a room versus someone who is outside all of the time. They're just going to be more energized. They're going to have more energy. They're going to be more energetic because they are outside receiving that solar energy. Whenever we eat eating food and drinking water is a form of receiving secondary solar energy. All of the water on this planet is also getting charged with the solar energy, or maybe it's in aquifers down in the earth, but the earth has been absorbing this solar energy for millions of years, so it is also infused into the water and the minerals. And the food, through photosynthesis, all of the plants on this planet are receiving the solar energy. And then we then go and eat the plants, or maybe we eat the animals that eat the plants, or we eat the animals that eat the other animals that eat the plants. Either way, we're receiving that solar energy, either directly or indirectly. And so I also for years have been, gazing at the sun, receiving that solar energy directly. But, that's not really what I'm talking about here on this subject. And anybody, I would suggest you do some research before you go and do it. But, I've been doing it for years. It's no harm if you do it right. But essentially what you're receiving is this solar energy. And this energy is what is going to fuel your body. That's why, you probably hear, or maybe have read about or heard about breatharians, people who live off of the breath. When I was really, every 15 minutes, every single day, gazing at the sun, I didn't need to eat. I did. Some days it would be like 2 a.m. I realized, man, I didn't eat nothing. Maybe I should just go into the kitchen and grab an apple. And it wasn't that I was, I was hungry. And it wasn't that I was like malnourished or anything. I just had plenty of energy. And anytime I feel that I need more energy, then that's what I'll do is either do a breathing exercise or, go and gaze at the sun for a little bit if it's at the right time and able to do that. And it'll refuel me and re-energize me. And so that's essentially the essence of what is within our breath, and what is allowing us to harness the power of our breath is through this prana, or this life force, or this vitality. And so it's more than just oxygen. We're not just using oxygen. The oxygen is having a physical effect on our physical body, but this is having an energetic effect on our energy body, which also has an effect on our physical body. And also vice versa, the oxygen does have an effect on the physical body, which has an effect on the energetic body, emotional body, mental body as well. It's, vice versa in that way. And so, let's see here. Just want to keep myself on track. Yeah, so the sun is the source. The sun is the source of this essence, the source of life. That's why, in many ancient years, it was worshipped, because it was the source of life. And most of those cultures, it wasn't necessarily that they were just worshiping the sun. It was that they saw that the creator was too great to be able to conceive. So they, worshipped, this part of the creator that brought us this source of our energy, our essence of everything. This is how I'm going to honor that and respect that and revere that. You know, the rain, the water, and different things. So they kind of create different aspects to kind of compartmentalize how they viewed the Most High, the Creator, and that's how they kind of show their devotion and gratitude. It's just individually one aspect at a time. You know, like if you think of the Creator as the body, like, oh, okay, I love my hands. You know, I love that I'm able to be mobile with my hands. I love my eyes, that I'm able to see my eyes. You know, it's not that I'm worshiping my eyes, or I'm seeing my eyes as separate to my hands, but it's that the body's so big, you know, that I gotta just only think about this aspect of it because it's impossible to conceive the whole. You know, but anyways, not to, you know, digress too much. But so that's kind of what we're doing is when we breathe in, it is filling our lungs with oxygen, and then the red blood cells are taking that through the rest of the body, and then that's going to purify the body. And at the same time, the bloodstream is also picking up all of the carbon waste, carbon dioxide, out of the different parts of the body, and then bringing it back to the lungs, and then we're expressing it out. So that's physically what's happening. But also, when we're breathing in, it's coming in through the pituitary gland, and then the prana and life force is coming into the pituitary gland, and it is, when it comes into the pituitary gland sends that energy to the medulla oblongata, and the medulla oblongata is like the controller of where the energy goes, and it's connected with all the parts of the body. That's why the medulla oblongata, if you research and do your research and find out and study, you'll find out and see the medulla oblongata is one of the only parts of the body that there can't be any type of surgeries or anything on, because it is so interconnected with the entire body, because it's the director, it's the controller, it's the navigator of all the energy that's coming into your body. So as you are breathing in, you are filling up your body. So where, you know, energy flows where the attention goes. So if you're having some sort of pain or anything like that, you know, one thing I do whenever I have like any type of pain or any type of illness is I'll take about 5-10 minutes out and just start breathing. Breathe in, bring it into the medulla oblongata, and then, you know, say it's you know, a pain in my side or something, you know, right up under my ribs maybe, and then I'll just breathe out, and as I breathe out, I'm sending that energy from here to there. You know, a lot of times I also, you know, open up the heart chakra and send it through the heart chakra, bypass through the heart chakra to pick up some of the healing energy and things. But that's, you know, that's for another video. We'll get into that. But essentially, what I'm breathing in, the solar energy, universal energy, and then breathing out, bringing it to the pituitary, then sending it to the medulla, and then sending it to that part of the body. And I'll just and continue to fill that space with that healing energy, with that solar energy, and fill my body with more energy. And so so that's what's occurring with that. And so that kind of brings me to the next exercise that I want to share with you, and it is the energy circuit. And so this is going to help you to fill your body with more energy, to have more energy throughout the day, to have more energy throughout your life. And so there are energy reservoirs that our body has, or that our essence, our energetic essence has. There's 3 energy reservoirs contained within you. One around just around the navel, and then one in front of the chest, and then one in front of the head. And then you don't have to really worry about all of that. You really just have to worry about the one just below the belly button. That's right there. That's the only one you have to concern yourself with, because as that fills up, and once that fills up, it'll overflow into the next one. And as that fills up, it'll overflow into the next one. You only want to fill up the bottom one. It's kind of like those little games on social media that's always talking about, you know, which jar or container is going to fill up first. You know, number 1, number 7, number 6, number 3. You know, so as this jar fills up, then it'll extract out into this, and then once that fills up, then it'll extract out into this. But there's like holes in it, but it's not necessarily with the holes, but it's just that concept of once this jar fills up, then this one will fill up. You know, it's kind of the same concept. All you got to do is focus. You know, the only place receiving the water is the first jar. You know, that's the only place receiving the water. So that's all you got to do is fill that first jar up with energy, and then it'll overflow into the others. And so what you want to do is, you know, you have essentially you have a lot of different exit and entry points with your energy. You know, you have the brow chakra, the crown chakra, you know, right here, essentially right here at the top of the head. Also the heart as well, and the solar plexus, and then the root chakra, but your hands and your feet as well. And so that's what we're going to focus on today, is the hands and the feet with this particular exercise. And so what you will be doing is, as you're breathing in, you're drawing the energy up through your feet, through your legs, through your spine, up your spine, through your neck, through the back of your head, reaching the crown and at the top of your head. So that's the in breath. And then once it gets to the crown of the head, then you'll breathe out down the front of the face, down the neck, down the chest, and down into the navel, and moving into that energy reservoir, that first dantian. It's the dantian. And so you'll move that energy into the first energy reservoir. And so you breathe in through the feet, through the legs. The energy's coming in through the feet. That's where it's coming in. The major minor chakra is in the feet. And so it's coming in. I mean, I can already feel my feet are pulsing right now already, just doing it once and starting to do it twice. And as you do it more and more, you'll be more receptive to that. Or if you already do a lot of energy work, you can probably be receptive to that right away today. And then, breathe in and then breathe out, sending that back to the energy reservoir, and just continually doing that. And then if you want to take a step further, or if your attention can expand far enough to do this, or maybe you got to just start out with that. But if you would like and you're able to, you can also incorporate the hands. So at the same time as the feet are going, when you're breathing in, it's coming in through the hands. Like I can already feel my hands activated, receiving the energy. And then it comes up the arms, up the elbows at the same time, through the shoulders, and meeting at the back of the neck. So where the shoulders meet the spine, where you're pretty essentially like where your bones from your arms meet in the shoulders, and then where that meets the spine, and then it's coming up, connecting together. So the legs and arms are connecting together at the same time at that point. So you have 4 points of entry that this solar energy is receiving into your body. So all you have to do, you don't have to see anything outside of yourself, but just draw that energy in. And then just continue doing that. And I would suggest that you practice that 10 minutes a day, every day, either when you first wake up or before you go to bed. If you do it when you first wake up, you're going to have a lot more energy to get things done and accomplished throughout the day. If you do it just before you go to bed, then you've already begun the rejuvenation process. You've already begun the revitalization process, because that's the whole purpose of sleep. Where all day our chakras are expelling all of this energy. We're using up all of this energy throughout the day, and we need to recycle that energy back into ourselves. That's the whole purpose of the Ankh symbol, is that connection. That energy is going out and recycling back in. It's leaving out and coming back in. It's leaving out and coming back in. So when your chakras are sending out all this energy, you got to receive that back in. And throughout the day is done through assimilation and things, understanding what's the purpose of your experiences, building understandings from that. Kind of a lot of what your dreams are helping you work with. That's why you dream at night, because it's a simulation process, so you can recycle that energy. So you can send out the energy to create the experiences, and then that understanding and that learning is what you bring back into the heart chakra. That's why the Ankh is symbolized. There's the arms, and it's right here at the heart center where it loops out and comes back in, because it's coming into the heart center, which is the heart chakra, which is where those understandings are stored, is in the heart center, the center of it all. It's the middle chakra, the in between the 4th and 5th levels of the mind. As you kind of understand more of that, it's kind of going a little too deep for this little video, but essentially for those who can understand that, that's kind of for, if you have ears to hear, that's what that was kind of for. So what you're doing is building up that energy and that reservoir. So that's kind of, what you're doing at sleep, when you go to sleep. So when you're doing this exercise before you go to sleep, then you've already begun that revitalization process, rejuvenation process. So you're going to need less sleep. So you'll wake up, so you'll have more hours in the day to, get the things accomplished that you want to get done, fulfill your goals, fulfill your purpose. And so you'll already start that process. Another great thing about doing this exercise before you go to sleep is that like I said, it'll get the revitalization process going. So it'll complete faster. You'll be fulfilled with all the energy that you need and be rejuvenated a lot sooner and earlier in the night, So then it leaves more time while you are asleep to become lucid. You'll just naturally, without any other practice with dreams, you'll just naturally realize you're becoming more aware of your dreams because your body's not needing that time to just kind of shut down and rejuvenate. Now you can use that time while you're asleep to become a little bit more aware and a little bit more awake and conscious. And so if you are working with your dreams and practicing, writing down your dreams and things, then it will, that exercise will help you to just accelerate that process of becoming more lucid, become more aware, become more conscious of what's occurring within your dreams. And so if you do that for 10 minutes in the morning after you first wake up and at night before you go to sleep, you're just going to be a power cell. That's when you really start filling up that energy reservoir to where it then fills up full, and it fills up and flows over into the next energy reservoir and the next energy reservoir after that. If you want to know a little bit more about that, search and do your research and study on the Dantian. That'll kind of give you more insight onto what you're doing. But like I said, remember, when you're breathing in and receiving this energy and pulling it into your body, and you're doing the circuit and cycle, put it into the bottom reservoir. That's the one right in front of your navel, just below your belly button, kind of right in front of your belly. It's not like necessarily all the way in your body. It's right in front, because your energy body is bigger than your physical body. So that's kind of what you're doing and what you want to do. And so what that is helping with, because the Dantian, there's a lot of different exercises with it. Most of them work with the meridians, but that's kind of one thing that you're helping to do, is that exercise will do, is stimulate the energy body. And that's why it's also good to do it just before sleep, because you're stimulating your energy body, making it easier for your body to separate your energy body, your dreaming body, astral body, to separate from your physical body. Like a lot of people probably have a lot of time going to sleep. There's plenty of studies and plenty of research done on why it's bad to eat just before you go to sleep, but energetically also it is bad and troubling and hard to go to sleep and hard to really be rejuvenated, because you are, you're not allowing your energy body to really separate from your physical body, because you're going to be so grounded and attached, because there's all this new food that needs to be digested and things. So as you do this will also help you even to an even greater degree release from the physical body, so that you can easily move right into your dreams and things. So practice this energy circuit, of breathing in through the hands, breathing in through the feet, bringing that energy up the spine, to the back of the head, down into the bottom energy reservoir, just in front of your navel, just below your belly button, right in front of your belly. You can't really see me, but it's just right in front of your belly, down below your navel, or at your navel, right below your belly button. And so just doing that for 10 minutes before you go to sleep and after you wake up, or just even through the day. Maybe you're sitting somewhere and you're trying, maybe you're driving down the road, you're on a long trip. This happens a lot, and you're starting to get sleepy. Pull over if you need to and things, but one thing you can do once you first start to realize you're starting to get sleepy is start doing this exercise, of sending that energy. Now, don't put as much attention on it as you would when you're, about to go to bed or just getting up, because you still want to have your attention. You don't want to completely internalize all of your attention. You want to be aware of what's going on around you. But as if you've already practiced this for a long time, it'll be easy for you to then move your attention slightly to that and separate your attention a little bit to get that energy circuit going, to where it's just pumping, pumping, and that energy reservoir is building up until you got 3 containers full of all that energy, and you never run out of energy throughout the day. Everybody sees a difference. You see a difference, and you never sleepy. You're getting more things done. Your creative mind is functioning better. Your conscious and subconscious minds are working in more harmony and more alignment, because you have all of this energy. The creative energy is there. Things are just coming to you. You're in more harmony with the universal laws. All these things are going to add up through working with your energy, working with your breath. And so all of it starts with the breath. Like I said, I kind of broke that down earlier. So what this is doing is electrifying the body. And another way that we can help do that, because with the breath, it's all working on the energy and things, but also with the physical, the way you can help yourself electrify your body, because we're an electric circuit. The nervous system is very key to the electricity that we have in our body. And so that's why, like in dreams, when you dream about like the wirings in a house and things, is going to, and the electricity is going to represent the nervous system. You know, if you have a dream of like you know, the electric just went out, or it's you know, the lights are flashing and on and off, and kind of, you know, the light switches ain't working, something's going on with the electric, there's a fire that started with the electric, that means that there's something going on with the nervous system, especially like if an electric fire starts out from faulty wires. You know, I had a student once who that happened in their dream, and it was obvious to me as soon as they said it, because they had already shared other things that were going on as far as like you know, inflammation in different areas and things, because there was inflammation, the fire spreading from things going on within the nervous system, an unhealthy nervous system. So one thing that this will help with that, but also you can tackle it as well with from the physical. So like caffeine, coffee, garlic, all three of those stimulate the nervous system, and they overstimulate the nervous system. So if you have them just, you know, one, you know, like I don't really ever drink coffee, but sometimes I do, just because I might need that sometimes. You know, so every once in a while I might just grab coffee or something, and just because it's very very far and few between, it really has an effect on me. But if you do it every day, it's just going to overstimulate and burn out your nervous system. You know, if you're eating garlic all the time, it's going to burn out and overstimulate your nervous system. And so one thing that you can do is magnesium. Magnesium and iron are two of the main metals that are essential to the body, and help stimulate and help have a natural balance and keep the nervous system firing properly in a healthy manner. And it helps to electrify the body. Magnesium, one of the best forms of receiving magnesium is through sea moss, Irish sea moss. It's a seaweed that has tons of properties. It's like 92 of the 108 natural minerals that your body needs. It's all contained within sea moss. Beautiful. That's a great source of magnesium. A great source of iron is moringa. Moringa is another great source of iron. Best source of iron on the planet. Way like 3 times as much iron as spinach. So you know, those two right there are wonderful, beautiful. So that's kind of one thing, things to work on, and the ways that you can increase your energy just from a physical standpoint. You know, things that you can do physically, as well as the energy of the breathing that you can do. So one thing that I was talking about early on is the Holy Trinity. And so the Holy Trinity is mostly in the Bible, but almost all Holy Scriptures have some sort of Holy Trinity going on. But I'm going to approach it from the Bible, just because that's mostly, you know, living in America, that's mostly what Americans understand as far as their access or their exposure to different Holy Scriptures. And so the Holy Trinity, everybody knows, is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So what we're, you know, and like I said earlier, breaking down earlier, just keep in mind what I was saying earlier about the breath and what truly is the breath, how it's this solar energy that's encapsulated within the oxygen molecules, the either prana, life force, vitality globules, whatever you want to call it. You know, go research what vitality globules are if you don't know what those are and want to understand. But essentially, it's prana and life force. You know, that's inserted within every oxygen molecule, because it's charged up through the sun, coming through the ozone layer into our atmosphere. You know, and so when we breathe in, we're not just breathing in oxygen, but we're also bringing in this prana and this life force to energize our bodies. And so the Holy Trinity, if you understand the Holy Spirit, you know, what is the Holy Spirit? People talk all the time what the Holy Spirit is, but mostly what they're talking about is the functions of the Holy Spirit, the things that the Holy Spirit can provide for you. And so if you understand that, first you got to understand the language, because, you know, the Bible wasn't written in English language. So you got to understand the language, and to understand the language, you got to understand the history of the language and the words. And that's etymology. The study of the history of language, or the origin of words, is etymology. So the etymology of the word spirit comes from the Greek word spiritus, and the Greek word spiritus means breath. So the holy breath is truly talking about the Holy Spirit is truly talking about the holy breath, or the whole breath. So like everything I've been talking about today, the whole breath, receiving that whole breath. And so the Holy Spirit is that's what that aspect is. And so Jesus is called the Son for a reason, because it's the holy breath through the Son. Because you know, yeah, the only way to reach me is to reach the Father is through me. So you have to go through the sun, through the source, the solar energy that's received through the holy breath to reach the Father, the Most High, the Creator. And so that's our access to the Creator within, because we are just individual lights of that Creator's light, individual rays of that light. We are, it also says, in almost all holy scriptures that God is omnipresent, omniscient. So he's a part of everything, he's a part of everywhere. So he is everywhere and a part of everything. So that means that every part of me is a small part of him. So if I want to access and connect with the Creator, with the Most High, I must do that within. And to help open that up and access within, I must utilize the Holy Spirit, so that the Holy Spirit can allow me to receive the communication to the Creator, for me to receive and communicate with the Creator, the Most High. So the more you understand that, then the more you understand the Holy Trinity. So then the more you understand the Holy Trinity, then the more you understand all of the different stories and teachings surrounding the Holy Spirit and Jesus and the Creator and the relationship between all three. I realized when I was putting together this outline, like, damn, man, I need to put together a whole book, because one thing I was wanting to do, realize I need to make sure I didn't do is talk for 2-3 hours, because I can go on each section. I started to talk too long just about that one exercise, and I still have this other exercise that I'm gonna talk about. That's extremely powerful. So what that does is it allows us to use our breath, the whole breath. Like I said, the whole breath, not just the oxygen, but the whole breath, everything encapsulated within it, that soul, the energy. Then it allows you to receive the sun into your heart. Like I said earlier, we're sitting here spending out all of this energy. We're spending out all of our energy to create these different experiences in our life. The duty of the conscious mind, its job of the conscious mind and the physical, our physical mind, is to create these experiences. And the purpose of the conscious mind is to then extract something to learn, something to understand from those experiences, to place back into the subconscious mind, so that we can take those understandings and they can move forward, and we can use those understandings. Like for instance, if somebody does something to you, so you've cultivated a friendship with someone, you've expended a lot of energy to create this friendship with someone, but something happens, you get into a fight and you go your separate ways, and you're pissed off at them, but then you understand, I gotta forgive them. Me holding on to that, it's only affecting me. I'm probably, they're just as mad at me as I am at them, so I'm probably never gonna see them again. I need to understand how to forgive, how to forgive. When you understand that word, you understand more about forgiveness. So maybe that experience that you created and used your energy up to create has provided you with an opportunity to understand what it really is to forgive. And so then you understand forgiveness in a deeper way. So then when you have another experience later on, it's a lot easier to forgive that person and move on and let go, because you already have that understanding that you've placed within yourself that you can carry forward with you. So then, or maybe you did all that work in the past life. So you just come into this life, your younger siblings, older siblings doing stuff to you, it don't really even bother you, because you understand forgiveness. Like, if I forgive you, I know that most of your actions that you're doing to me has absolutely nothing to do to me. It has something to do with something that you're dealing with inside yourself. So I forgive you. It's nothing but love. So maybe as a kid, you just more forgiving than us, because you've used up your energy throughout the day to create these experiences. And then the duty of the purpose of the conscious mind is to take those experiences, extrapolate the learning and understandings contained within them, and place them within the heart. Because the heart is, if you understand the 7 levels of mind and the 7 chakras and things, then you understand that the heart is the center of all of that. And where you're storing these understandings within the mind is in between the 4th level and the 5th level of the mind, which is the upper and lower astral levels. And within there is the Akashic records, the storehouse of wisdom. You have your personal section within there that has this storehouse of wisdom, is where you're going to store these understandings. And so that's at the center of of in between the 4 and 5. It's at the center. So the heart chakra is at the center. You have the crown chakra, brow chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra. So it's at the center. So as you take in the holy breath, the Holy Spirit, take that energy, that you've expanded out, because when you build up those understandings and place those within, that's that energy that you sent out coming back into you. You recycling that energy. Like I said, the Ankh symbol, recycling that energy, bringing it back within. Everything that you sent out is coming back within of greater value. So you're bringing in that energy back in. You're revitalizing the body, re-energizing the body, and rejuvenating the body, because you're bringing that energy back into yourself. You're bringing that solar energy that you first received and sent out back into yourself. So invite the sun into your heart. So as you understand that part of it, the Holy Spirit asking the sun to come into your heart. And so then through that way, you are going to more align the conscious, subconscious minds, which will then be easier to harmonize with the superconscious mind, which is your access. The superconscious mind, the highest level within the mind, is the Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness or cosmic consciousness, whatever you want to call it. That's that part of the consciousness, because that is the highest point within the mind that allows you to have the access of the divine knowledge, divine teachings from the Creator. That's your connection. That's why the Holy Spirit is that alignment between all three minds to move beyond and receive from the divine, from above. So that's your connection to the Creator, is through that Holy Trinity, the triune. And so as you receive through the breath, receive the sun, learn from your experiences, I kind of, was kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to take, a 3-4 hour description and, put it into 1 hour. And so that's kind of what you're wanting to do there. So with that being said, one thing that I also want to share with you is the last breathing exercise, because I understand, life can be tough, and a lot of our issues that we deal with, a lot of the kind of things that we carry with us, the kind of baggage and things, we might think it might come from this experience we had when we were in our early 20s, or as a teenager and things, or as a child. I was 8 years old and got hit by a car, and so I never want to go outside again. But a lot of these issues really originated at your birth, because all of us, especially people my age and older, well, from people my age to back into like the 1700s, he had more natural births back then and before. But in the modern era nowadays, they're getting back to understanding, we got to keep the baby in mind when we're giving birth. But when I was born, they was just, reaching in, grabbing, pulling the babies out. If they didn't want to come, they're going to send some forceps in to pull you out. And so that's just think about the experience of being born. That's your first experience in this world. That's your first experience. For 9 months, everything's been cush. You've been in this warm, soft spot, just chilling, everything. You just chilling, laid back, receiving all the food and oxygen through the umbilical cord. You just getting fed, you just chilling. Then all of a sudden you get ripped out of there. You being born into a cold room. They smacking you on the butt. They sending the little thing up your nose to pull out the water, down your throat to pull the water out. They dropping the iodine in your eyes, all type of stuff. Then for your whole entire physical life so far, 9-10 months, you've been receiving all of your life force and energy through the umbilical cord. You know what I mean? And so you breathe in, essentially that's what you're doing. You breathe in through the umbilical cord. So naturally the baby's supposed to just naturally take its first breath on its own. Like, you know what? I'm gonna take my breath. And then the umbilical cord just naturally fall off. But what do? Cut it off. Bink. Now in an instant, this baby either has to learn how to breathe or it is gonna die. And that's why then they start smacking it. And this is like your first 10-20 minutes of being on this earth. That's your experience, so we all growing up would have thought, man, this place is vicious. I got to protect myself at all times, because ever since my first seconds, life been trying to kill me. Things outside myself been trying to kill me, but then maybe, if they set you back down with your mom, so all of a sudden you feel safe again. Okay, this feels familiar. This feels comfortable. I feel protected. I feel safe. Okay, it's been 20-30 minutes. We're going to take the baby away now and go run some tests, do some other things, and set it in a little cube all by itself, all swaddled up all by itself, with some other screaming babies that just went through the same experience, away from the love and nurturing of the parents. Now, like I said, now they understand all of that. Not all of that, but they understand that has an effect on the baby, and they reverse a lot of that, soft, mellow lighting, the temperature of the room, allowing the baby and would be with the parents and the father and mother for a long time. They do a lot of that. But for me, that was my first experience. And then you got to look at, what were the conditions of the birth. Like my parents had just started dating for like 3 months when found out I was born. My mom, she was only 19. She had another kid already. So she like, I already got a kid. I'm pregnant with this dude. I don't really even know like that. I don't know if I want to keep this baby, And so then obviously she did, I'm glad for that. But, she's having those thoughts going into her mind. And so as a baby, I'm realizing it and receiving all of this energy, all of this uncertainty. Yeah, I'm receiving her love, but I'm also realizing that my presence is a bother or an inconvenience to this other being, my mother. And so, once I realized that, I can look back through my whole life and realize how my interactions with my mother was all about, I just want to make sure I'm not an inconvenience to you. I got whoopings every day, but none of it was really like, smarting off to my mom or all my whoopings were never for things I did around her. But all of it, that is because I primarily made sure that I was not being an inconvenience to her. Whenever she was around, I was a very good child. I was a good child altogether, just mainly because I didn't want no whoopings, but they just found me anyway, getting into things and stuff. But a lot of that, and it still carried over into my adulthood. I didn't want to be an inconvenience to other people. Somebody bump into me, oh, I'm sorry. They bumped into me, what am I apologizing for? What do I got to be sorry for? Because I'm just sitting here existing, but my existence must have been an inconvenience to them. And I realized that all the value went back to that. But that's all things that my soul asked for. That's why I asked to be a Taurus. Tauruses are notorious for having to understand and learn self-value and self-worth. And I've worked a lot with that. And I've seen lots of results. But, kind of carried over from last week, as you have more self-value, you have more, you receive more money. So, if that's one thing you want to work on, you want to work on self-value. But anyways, that's kind of my experience of different little aspects of the birth and how that's going to relate to and correlate to the issues that you have going on in your life. So what do most of us do? Most of us, we just go to the therapist, we go to the psychologist, and we just hash it out and talk about it and think about it. And, oh, okay, so I did discover it's from my birth. Let me just talk about it, think about it. Let me rehash everything. Let me talk about all the whoopings I got. Let me talk about, little scuffles with my siblings growing up. Let me talk about, my relationships with my boss, and, let me talk about all this and that. Nah, you don't got to rehash all that. You don't got to go through all that just to relieve it. You can let it go. You can release it right away. And so the power of the breath, another power of the breath, it can do that for you. It's like when you're taking out your trash. If you go into your kitchen right now and go to take out your trash, are you gonna empty it out on the kitchen table and just go through it like, oh, this old banana peel, yeah, it is rotten. I don't need that. Oh, these papers, these old bills, I already paid those. I don't need those. The leftovers from 3 nights ago. No, I don't need that. You ain't going through it. You ain't doing that because it's waste. It's unnecessary. You got to let it go, and it's trash, garbage, waste. Get rid of it. And so you just pick it up out the bag and throw it in the garbage. Why don't we do that with our own garbage, with our own trash that we carrying with us? But you can with the breath. The breath is going to help you to do that. And so, but the particular breathing cycle will help stimulate and create that. So I'm sharing this with you, and in hopes that you do receive it and practice it. But one thing I would suggest is first finding someone who either does, it's called all type of things: rebirthing, breathing, intuitive breathing, effigy breathing. Just maybe find somebody who already does that. If you know somebody, then that's wonderful. If you don't, especially if you're in like Louisville or Cincinnati or something, or Missouri or Texas, I can definitely, hook you up with people that might be in your area that can help you with that. But you can just find somebody that you trust and that you love to just sit there with you while you're doing the breathing. And just make sure you keep breathing, because a lot of times when you first start out with this, you're going to start doing the breathing, you're going to want to go to sleep because you're going to want to remain unconscious to the things that are going on. You know, like with that whole thing with my mom for a long time, I wanted to remain unconscious to that. I was unconscious to how it was affecting me. I wanted to remain unconscious, so I would start doing the breathing, just fall asleep, and then the breathing don't have the effect, and I don't move through the whole breathing cycle, and it don't relieve all of that because I went unconscious right before it was about to come and surface. And so you kind of, that's one reason why you want someone around. Also, I mean, a lot of people, they re-experience their birth, or they re-experience giving birth. You know, a lot of mothers re-experience giving birth. And you know, it's funny because I went to a little breathing class with like 20 people, and the person who was teaching it never said nothing about how it was this exact same breathing exercise. It was funny. And exact same breathing exercise, and nobody there, so she didn't tell anybody about what it had to do with rebirthing or going through the birth, or how you're gonna have you probably gonna have an experience of your own birth, or you're thinking about your parents, or something's gonna come up regarding your childhood or something, or you're gonna re-experience your own birth. She never said nothing like that. Then I knew what it was, but I wasn't gonna interfere in the person teaching the class and say anything to anybody. So I just had my own experience in different things. But it was funny because I came out of it and I looked, and half the class just laying there in the fetal position. And then when people talking about their experience, half the class talking about, man, I felt like I was back in the womb and being born. Oh man, you did. I went and re-experienced both of my kids' birth. And just people sharing all these things. And I'm just laughing like, yeah, because what you're doing is you taking that old baggage and you're throwing it out, letting it go. You don't have to do nothing with it. You just keep breathing, and then it's gone. Because one thing that it does is breathing. Breathing is very relaxing, and this breathing exercise relaxes you quickly. And so if you put in your whole body in a very relaxed state, then the tension is going to come to the surface. And so it's going to be deep tension. So that's another reason why you want to have somebody with you, because you can be comforted, because especially in your early sessions, you're going to experience tetanus. And tetanus is where your muscles, lock up. So your arms are going to lock up and feel like you can't move. Your legs are going to lock up and feel like you can't move. If you're not aware that that's possible to happen, then when it first happens, it can be kind of frightening, like, what the fuck's going on? But if you know, then it's a lot easier to deal with, because what's happening is that tension, that deep tension, is coming to the surface. So it'll just come and be there, and then physicalize, and then release, and then it's gone. Gone. Like, you've been tense and stressed, gone. 1 hour breathing like this, gone. You're gonna feel as light as ever. Sometimes going through this, I have friends. I never did this, but I had friends who would laugh for like hours. One time when I did it, man, I don't really never cry. Mostly because I grew up like that. Don't you a man, you don't cry. I was told that ever since I was a kid. So I don't really never cry. But after doing this, I wasn't crying. I was weeping for like 4 hours straight. It was intense. And but it was such a release, man, to let all that go. So I really don't even know consciously where that originated from. I can kind of, it's probably from this, from that. But like I said, I didn't have to dig through it. I didn't have to rehash all of it. It just came, it surfaced, and I let it go, and it's gone. And amazing. So with all of that being said, that's kind of some of the reasons why you want to have somebody with you while you're doing this breathing exercise. But also, like one time, me and another woman were helping someone else breathe this way. They're going through it, having these different experiences, and then all of a sudden they open their eyes, and they did a double take. Like, man, for a split second, all I saw was my mother and my father, and that can be a very nurturing experience for someone to have someone else there. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be, your mom or your dad or anybody in particular, but you just want to make sure it's someone that loves you and someone that cares about you and someone that you trust, because then it'll allow you to get extremely relaxed. So what you're going to want to do is this breathing exercise is going to help you relax. So you can do it through the nose or through the mouth, but essentially you're going to want to breathe through the chest. And I find most people do breathe through the chest. It took me like 6 months of practice, like 7 years ago. I just want to start breathing through the abdomen, just from different things my dad taught me when he taught me Tai Chi when I was younger. And so then after a while, I just naturally breathe through the abdomen. So it was kind of hard. It wasn't hard, but it took a little practice for me to breathe through the chest again. So what you're going to want to do is breathe through the chest and out, and breathe through your chest, but through your nose or your mouth, and then in and out. And what you're going to want to do is force the inhale and allow the exhale, or cause the inhale to happen and then just allow the exhale to happen. Kind of like, I got a pen right here. I pick up the pen and then I just let it go. I pick up the pen and I let it go. I pick up the pen and then I let it go. I pick up the pen and then I let it go. I make the inhale happen, and I just allow the air to leave my body. I don't force it out. I don't try to get it out. I don't try to keep it from going out. I just allow it to leave however it leaves. Or maybe it's through the mouth. Me personally, I like through the mouth because it creates that, because it'll create a cycle of breaths where eventually you're just going to start breathing like that. To where no longer you trying to do that, you're just doing it. And so then that's when you kind of have different, sometimes you have kind of out of body experiences because your body's just going on its own, but you just existing without it. So you got this body, your body in this repetition. Like, my fiance, her first time doing that, she had all type of different experiences, outside of her body and things. She was still present within the body. If you understand astral projection, you understand the double projection and things. She had an amazing experience. I know of other people who, had said that they were seeing angels and stuff and things. But you have your own experiences. But all you're doing is breathing. That's all you're doing. Just. Causing the inhale and allowing the exhale. Causing the inhale and allowing the exhale. Causing the inhale and allowing the exhale. And doing that for an hour. Already I feel like my first time doing that, man, I'm telling you, I felt like a cell phone plugged into the wall on 100%. Like I had so much energy, like boom, boom, boom. My whole body's just boom, boom, boom. All my chakras are just pulsating. Boom, 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 boom. Like I had so much life force. Because like I said, when you breathe, you're breathing in that life force. When you eat food, you're taking life force in. That's how your organs truly function, is off of the life force. That's why, when you can't just, fill a dead body with air, food and water is not going to keep going. It has to have some sort of way, the medulla oblongata, to feed all the organs that life force. So I was full of life force energy, full of prana, to where my first time doing it, man, I stopped as soon as I was done breathing. I just sat there breathless. I didn't take another breath I swear, I took another breath for like 10 minutes. Had to be at least 10 minutes. That's what the other person said, is it was 10 minutes. After about 3 minutes, they started timing it, and it was like 7-8 minutes after that. And then I took a breath, but I remember sitting there and I was like, man, I feel like I should take a breath just because it's been so long since I took a breath. So I took one breath. And I sat there for like another 2-3 minutes without taking no breath. So it was like 12 minutes, 13 minutes with just one breath. But that's because I didn't need to breathe, because I already filled my body up with so much life force energy, all of my organs, and it could keep on functioning with the life force that I had already stored up in those reservoirs, that I was talking about with the energy circuit. And so until those reservoirs just depleted. Now, since they're talking about it, I imagine, I wonder what would have happened if I would have started breathing and just allowed my reservoirs to remain full and keep on going off that. But those they filled up on their own at that time in my life, on their own, with different things I was doing. But I think I went to sleep. It was like 11:30 when I went to sleep that night. Right after that, I woke up at 4:30. Man, I never was that awake since I was like 14 on a Saturday. Woke up at 4:30, jumped out of bed, and was like, man, it's 4:30, but there's no way I can go back to sleep. I'm up, ready to go, full of energy, full of energy. And so, you know, that's, you know, that was my first experience with that. So you'll have your own experience with it. Try it out. You know, you got the long breath. Try that out. You know, if you tune it in halfway through, you know, you can start the video over. But look at all that. You know, practice that. Take these things with you. And I have also, I'll let y'all go, just uploaded the ebook for Life is But a Dream, so you can check that out. That's on pre-release. It'll release October 5th. So keep in tune with that. Go order it now, Amazon, Kindle. So thank you all, and certainly, as always, leave you in peace.